All right. First of all, the geologic history of the Connecticut River Valley. In the Mesozoic Era, 430 million years ago, plate tectonics caused landmass collisions. There was the tectonic orogeny 430 million years ago, and then there was the Acadian orogeny 400 million years ago, which was much larger. Orogeny meaning mountain building episodes. These events created Himalayan-sized mountains. Over millions of years, the erosion wore down the lofty peaks. The next event was in the Mesozoic Era, 230 million years ago. The supercontinent Pangaea created faults called rifts, meaning great pull-aparts, that created the Connecticut River Valley, which developed it adjacent eastern border fault. In the Cenozoic area, 20,000 to 16,000 years ago, two events in the Cenozoic era prominently shaped our land. Uplifting glaciation. The former plain was uplifted by about 1,000 feet. Glacial scraping eroded the valley. Deposits blocked the whole valley form and the dam, creating the Great Glacial Lake, Lake Hitchcock. The dam eroded and the lake drained, leaving us with the Connecticut River Valley as we know it today. The Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution is a long train of changes starting about 1760 in England alongside the American Revolution in 1775 and the French Revolution, which were both political revolutions. All three were social revolutions. The Industrial Revolution is rooted in the countryside and begins in the villages by craftsmen. Millwrights were the engineers of the Industrial Revolution. Water was not only a source of power, but a wave of movement. Matthew Bolton of the Lunar Society in Birmingham built a factory which was a showplace because Bolton's kind of metalwork developed depended on skilled craftsmen. Here James Watt came to build the sun god of all power, the steam engine. Cloth industry inventions moved the cottage industries to the factories. 1750, Hargreaves invented the spinning jenny with multiple spindles. 1769, Arkwright invented the spinning frame. Compton invented the mule, and Cartwright applied power to the looms. The changes in the scale of time in the factories was ghastly and destructive, but the change in the scale of power opened the future. The American Industrial Revolution, 1790-1830. Alexander Hamilton, Secretary of the Treasury, was a Federalist, strong federal government, central banking, versus Thomas Jefferson, Secretary of the State. He was an anti-federalist, agrarian nation, states' rights. 1790, Samuel Slater opened the first industrial mill in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. 1794, Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin. The real impetus for the American Industrial Revolution was the passage of the Embargo Act of 1807, the War of 1812. It became clear that America needed a transportation system, more economic independence. In 1814, Francis Cabot Lowe started the textile revolution in Waltham, Mass, along with Paul Moody. This is a map of the old Post Road that went from New York to Boston. There was two routes, the southern route and the northern route. The northern route went to Windsor. This is just this is something I use as a research tool. The Massachusetts Historical Commission has a website called the Renaissance Survey of the Towns of Massachusetts. You can put any town in there, and if you're searching for those types, if I was using the economic base to find out about the mills, the local settlement history around the Scantic watershed. 1630, Wagenica welcomed to our lands alias Tantamano and one-eyed Saxon with the Hacknams. A few braves, including Jack Straw, who spoke English, went to Boston bearing gifts to see Governor John Winthrop. They invited the Pilgrims to settle their lands and trade with them. The governor turned them down, saying the river was navigable, but most of the year the Indians there were hostile. 1631, Manga leader Sawia from Windsor went with the same message. Must have worked because in 1633, Windsor was settled by John Holmes from Plymouth. 1637, Springfield was settled by William Pynchon from the Massachusetts Bay Colony. And in 1680, Enfield was settled by Robert and John Pease from Salem. 1844, the New York-New Haven Railroad extended to Springfield. Scantic River tributaries. 176 tributaries, 39 named, 18 no name, 116 feeders, and 3 I found that went on the top of. 17 mountains, 49 ponds. Watershed mill sites by town. There's 10 towns in the watershed. There was 146 mills and 84 sites. You can see up in the top where the river was running fast, there was more mills because the water power was faster.
Are there any more seats? Oh, sorry, let's get one up here.
This is the water power mill types. Starting with the most, you can see them: sawmill, grist mill, blacksmith shop, distilleries, shingle shop, woolen shops, tanneries. There's Woolen mills, carton mills, shoddy, and creameries. Those top 10 probably represented about 90% of the mills. When you think about it, it was pretty elementary. All those things did 4 things. It provided food, clothing, shelter, and some booze. They worked awful hard, so they deserved 6 hours and 6 days a week, from sun up to sundown. This is an undershot water wheel. There's an overshot water wheel, and the next one is a breaststroke. Breast-shot water wheel. In the town of Stafford, there's Crow Hill Road in the peak of Diamond Ledge. There's a plateau with wetlands. At its lowest point, the overflow drains in the form of a small creek, goes under Crow Hill Road, takes left turn and heads downhill into the Tray Hollow. That's the beginning of the Scantic. The Scantic travels 28 miles through 10 towns, drops 1,000 feet from 1,020 to 20 feet below sea level. It's a gravity feed following path of least resistance. This is the Scantic River after going through Tray Hollow on Butler Road. There's an old mill site off of Butler Road. There was no trespassing signs all over. I couldn't get in there. The Munson Historical Society couldn't tell me anything. This is a no-name brook off of Pekin Mountain. Goes under Butler Road. I took the liberty to name this Hendy Brook. Charles Philip Bradway built a mill pond and had an up and down sawmill there. Yeah. This is Boulder Hill Pond. George Hendy, a founder of the Indian motorcycle in Springfield, Mass., bought this large tract of land out in the wilderness in Munson, hired workers to build that dam, created a fishing pond for his guests. That's his hunting and fishing lodge, looking over Boulder Hill Pond. The middle picture there is the caretaker's house. And then down below, that's the caretaker with Mr. Hendy's niece and nephew. This is Bradley Brooke on Wood Hill Road. Yeah. J.C. Bradley had a distillery here. There's the distillery. It burnt down in 1938. This was an old name mill off of, at the corner of Butler Road and Hamden Road. Couldn't find any information on it. Let's see, this is London Brook coming down out of London Pond, about 10 through the Temple Brook. This is London Pond. This is now called the Miller Forest Tract. It's run by the trustees for reservations. The London family from Hamden came out here, bought this tract of land, built this dike, created the pond. They also built a stone cabin with a fireplace on it. Great place to hike. That's the back end of London Pond. This is in Mayhill Road in Munson. This is the headwaters of Temple Brook. That's Temple Brook further downstream. This is a no-name brook I happened to stumble across on the Hamden Road when I was going up to Munson. That's a no-name mill site off of Rocket Dundee Road. This is, let's see what we got here. This is a sod, grist, and Fulham mill by Abner Badger and Amos Chapey on Temple Brook off of Thrasher Road. You can see the retaining wall there. That's an unusual flower when I was stomping through the woods. I thought it was kind of unusual. This is Lappin Brook. The Massachusetts Audubon Society has a wildlife sanctuary there. There's park and great trails, nice hike. This is here at Thornton Burgess, renowned storyteller and naturalist, lived on the site. This is where he wrote his tales of Peter Rabbit in a small cabin up on the hill above the house. Thornton Burgess wrote his nature stories until age made it difficult for him to climb up the hill any longer. That's open to the public. It's a preserve.
What town is that in, Bill? What town is that in?
Hamden.
Hamden.
Just before you go into Munson. This is after Badger again had a sawing grist mill here on East Brook, Goodwill Pond. Also, Joel Newcomb had a blacksmith shop on the Harris Joyce Place on Glendale Road. These are some of the foundations of Abner's Mill. This one. Yeah, that's Ballard's Brook coming down out of South Road. This is an interesting story. I was driving up South Road looking for Erskine Kibbe and Sons Mill, the distillery near the Connecticut border. I happened upon this barn and old farmhouse. I saw the gentleman out here. I stopped and told him what I was looking for. And that's what he showed me. He preserved the old Kibbe distillery. This is Big Brook. This is East Brook going into the Scantic. This is Solomon Wright. Let's see. Yeah, in 1840, he had a grist mill on Big Brook by the Flynn Farm. This is Goat Rock. About 200 years ago, the land was owned by William King. He pastured his goats here, and one day one became entangled in the rocks and was found dead. This is how Goat Rock got its name. This is a great place to hike with spectacular views both east and west. You can see the center of Hamden off in the distance to the right. Well, that's Minnetonka Mountain. This is Westbrook. Excuse me. Westbrook after a storm. Captain Beebe had a distillery there. Yeah, that's a no-name brook off of Carmody Road. This is where the Scantic, you can see it's taking a sharp left, headed for Summers. This is brook number 1 off of Minnetonka Mountain. See, we had Milton Stebbins in 1850 had a grist and a sawmill there off of Minnetonka Mountain. This is where Paul Langdon had a potash factory. That's the brook coming out of Langdon's pond where the potash factory was. This is a no-name pond that I found off on the Summers, on the Connecticut, Massachusetts border. I stopped and the owner was out there and I talked to him about it. He had no information. I believe it was an old mill. You can see stone foundation that's been reinforced. This is Chabelle Pease, had a shingle shop here in 1850. Scantic East. When we get into Hamden in the center, there's 7 different sites with about 35 mills. Most of the mills are all gone now. Hamden has reclaimed the land, so there's very little to look at. We'll show you Scantic East. Powers had a blacksmith shop. Warren had a paper mill. Steve West had a tannery. And the Thresher and Hunt had a blacksmith shop. This is Powers' blacksmith shop. You can see the Scantic River below. This is the Wesson Dam. The Scantic River entering Weston Pond. The Burke family had a cart and saw grist mill in 1780. First it was David, then it was Milton, then it was Walter. The Von Mill, Gordon Chafee had a grist mill. That's the Scantic River about to go into Weston Pond. And that's the dam at Weston Dam to hold back Weston Pond where the Burke family had their mills. This is looking upstream to Weston Dam. This is an old antique map of Summers. Off to the right-hand side, you can kind of see the Scantic River coming down. Then all through Main Street, like I said, there was 7 diversions to run different mills. I won't read them all, but this is the center dam in 1797, Jonathan Woolen Mill. There's a carding mill, a truss shop, a single shop, clover cleaning shop, blacksmith tannery, soap factory, another blacksmith shop, and the Springfield Mountain Cooperative Creamery. That's the center dam. That's the stairway up into the Summers Creamery. Below the ice pond, diversion number 1, 1750, Lewis Langdon had a sawmill. Then 20 years later, he had a grist mill. The big one here is down the bottom, the large Woolen Mill. It's 1847, Scribner and Sade, also known as the South Manufacturing Company in 1859 to 1869. It's run by Luther Say, William Sessions, and Samuel Beebe. Then in 1870, it became the Lucas Woolen Mill, making 16,000 yards of fancy cashmere a month. This is the Ravine Dam. So Mr. Bacon in 1805 had a grist mill. He had a sawn shingle shop, wrapping paper. The big one here is the Ravine Manufacturing Company, sometimes called the Hand and Woolen Mills. Made 1,000 yards of cashmere daily. Another time, 2,000 yards of doeskin weekly. It burned down in 1878, and then again in 1904. So it employed 75 people. Scantic diversion number 2, it says 1865, Mortimer Pease had a shotting mill, and the Scantic manufacturing had a woolen mill. That's the Scantic Woolen Mill, and later on, like I say, the Kenworthy family took it over, was making blankets and yarn. Scantic diversion number 3, Kibbe and Tuttle in 1870 had a saw and grist mill. This is the diversion from the Scantic for Kibbe sawmill. They ran water over into the pond, and then at night they would run it down to the mill. This is Watchog Brook. Goes through Hamden, East Longmeadow, Somers, and enters the Scantic and Somers. This is Frank Chaplin, 1870, 1890, at a brownstone quarry off of Chestnut Street in East Longmeadow. You can see down the bottom there was a spring bed pond. This is again that spring bed pond. This is where there was a sawmill off of Old Barn Road in East Longmeadow. This is Rocket Dundee Brook. This is Culver Pond. This is the pond that feeds Rocket Dundee Brook. It's named after Culver Mondesett. He's a legend in the area. Was the chairman emeritus of the Northern Connecticut Land Trust. He used to travel to Alaska. He befriended an Indian tribe up there, and many summers he spent up in Alaska. This is Master Williams had a saw. A saw grist in a blacksmith shop. There's the dam that created Culver Pond. History books tells me that was built by slaves. That's the front of the mill. Now we move over to North Somers. This is Sinead Brook. This is Thrasher Brook. It enters Sinead downstream. That's Gillette's Brook. This is Gillette's Brook. I was stumbling through this wilderness and I happened to see this. You can see a bridge abutment. Must have been an old wagon road. This is Hurd's Lake, better known as Lake Iappo. The Davis family in 1856 dammed up Gillette's Brook and had an ice harvesting factory there. That mountain off in the distance is Perkins Mountain. There's a great hiking trail up there. This is Cooley Pond up the mountain road. There's the retaining wall for Cooley Pond. This is the wagon road where John Cooley would bring down the logs to the sawmill. He had a team of horses and a wagon. One day the horses bolted and threw John off the wagon, and that's where he met his fate. That's Cooley Brook, thanks to the Cooley Pond. This is Worthington Pond. This is where Deacon Daniel Davis had a there's the dam that Davis had his sawmill on in Worthington Pond. Down here at the bottom is the Lower Beaver Dam, looking up at the mill dam. Jesse Caddy had a tannery here in 1840 on Gillette's Brook. You can kind of see the foundation in the dam. This is Spencer Davis, had a shingle shop here on Gillette's Brook on Mountain Road. Up in the background there, it's hard to see, but there's an old well. Mr. White had a blacksmith shop here at the intersection of Turnpike Road and Mountain Road, Gillette's Brook. Unusual about this dam was on the other side. CWP's had a saw and shingle shop, so they were getting 2 for 1 on the power. This is Noah Collins and John Chapin in 1857 had a sawmill. Off of the intersection of Springfield and Navy Road. Excuse me. That's Avery Brook. This is Hall Hill Brook, out by Fort Bridges Road. This is a no-name brook, number 2 off of Somerville Road. This is brook number 1 off of Somerville Road. You can see 190 in the background there. This is right where Sonny's place is, the amusement park. That's another picture of that no-name brook number 1. Jimmy and Chauncey Herbert grew flax and made long. They dammed the Scantic between their houses. There they had a rope block and a mill to make spools to wind it on. The rope was made from their hemp and buried by the necessary rotting process in Hemp Dam Brook just up the river. That's Hemp Dam Brook, where the Chaunceys rotted their hemp. I believe this is the Chauncey brothers' father's house, right at where the Scantic crosses 190. This is Gulf Stream. This starts up on Gulf Road by Soapstone Mountain. Silent Road has a fire pond there. This is Hiram Pomeroy's house in Summers. He was a farmer, a distiller and a barrel maker. That's his distillery up behind his house on the hill, and then that's in the Whitaker property on the Northern Connecticut Land Trust. This is Shady Lake coming down off of Mountain View Road. This is Marcus Woodward's sawmill. It was powered by water on Shady Lake. That's the dam that created Shady Lake. This is the Summers Creamery right across the street. Milk was collected daily and sent down to made ice cream and transported by trolley to Enfield. In 1925, H.B. Hood Company bought it out and moved it to Springfield. This is Levery Brook up on off of Bald Mountain. Goes under 190 and enters Gillette Brook. That's my buddy there. This is Abbey Brook. This H.M. Spencer had a tannery here on Billings Road in the 9th District at Somers. This is a no-name site I found over on 83, looking east by Partridge Drive. This is where Noah Pease had a that was a sawmill. This is Spring Brook off of Scitico Road. That's Lindy Farm Stables in the background. The Antonacci family raises thoroughbred racehorses. This is Wright's Brook off of Summers Road, heading to Lafayette Pond. This is Wood Stream entering the Scantic. Again, back to Lafayette Pond. It was better known by Fly Pond. Connecticut fisheries limited, you could only fish there with flies. That's a dam they created for a nice harvesting operation. And again, that's Wood Stream leaving it. That's a funny story because Wright's Brook enters into it, and it's called Wood Stream when it exits. This is Kibbe's, Frederick Kibbe in 1730 had a sonic grist mill at Kibbe's Grove. This is Jonathan Bush in 1730 had a sonic grist mill. It's the small mill to the left there. Interesting part about this is Somers didn't become a town until 1735. So back then it was called the Eastern District of Enfield. Those additional buildings were added over the years. There's carpenter shops. Keeney Mill, Somersville Manufacturing Company. 1770, Mr. Billings had a Woolen mill there. 1835, there was the Spencer and Chafee, they sat in that. And then it was Homes and Reynolds. In 1879, Rockwell Keeney was making kersey and cashmere. His offspring ran it after he wasn't there. That was out there for 90 years. That's Billingsdale. That's Home and Shape, the addition. That's what it looked like a few years back. And there was a fire. Now it's they cleared that up and made it a park. This is a no-name brook off of Bailey Road entering the Scantic. This is Terry Brook off of Summers Road. That's an old dam site on Terry Brook. In 1692, there was a sawmill here by Parsons, Terry, and Morgan. Captain Samuel Terry, the first marriage in Enfield was that of Captain Samuel Terry in 1682 to Hannah Morgan, the daughter of Captain Miles Morgan, defender of the Springfield against the Indians in 1675. Isaac Morton was a man of consequence among the first settlers. He drowned in the Connecticut River in 1706. Benjamin Parsons was a resident of Springfield. He was on the proprietary committee for the settlement of Enfield. Couldn't get any pictures of that. There's no trespassing signs all over, so I gave up on that. This is Stoker's Pond. This is Stoker's Brook. This is Rustic Brook. It enters the Buckhorn Brook. That's the Buckhorn Brook. This is Still Pond. It's off of Still Road. The reason for that is because the guys had a distillery there. There's the dam for the Still Pond. Okay, this is Buckhorn Brook. This is where Obadiah Olmsted had a sawmill there. Ford Pond off of Liberty Road. That name's wrong. It's Nathaniel Gary. 1714 had a grist mill. John Mason had a carding mill. The big operation was the forge. Captain John King and his son-in-law Charles Clark. Then Charles Clark and his brother-in-law had a wood shop. They also had a blacksmith shop where they were making plows that were sent down south to the cotton farm. This is the Enfield Power Company off of Bailey Road. Two gentlemen from the Hazard Power Company left. One was a foreman, Mr. Beats, and the other one was the bookkeeper. They got a financial backing from Loomis and Gowdy and started their own power company. Then 3 years later, Colonel Hazard bought them out. This is the Gordon Brothers. In 1901, the Gordon Brothers had a shoddy mill and a carding mill there. Interesting part about this, before they were there, in 1840, the Shakers had a grist mill. Mr. Reed and Abbey and Spencer. Spencer was also operating a sawmill there. So before Gordon Brothers went in, like I say, the Shakers had a factory there. That's the dam that powered the Gordon's Mill. This has just recently been taken down. The contractor saved one of those logs down there, the wooden logs from the Shaker Mill. This is a further downstream, the rapids. You can see in the background there's a big retaining wall. That's where Stoker's Pond was. Henry Thompson, Warren Thompson's son. Warren Thompson founded the Bickle Sanford Carpet Company. His son left and went into started the Enfield Manufacturing Company on this Nuntic Street in Enfield. Later on, he hooked up with this Mr. Mendicott from Springfield, Massachusetts, and they built this hosiery factory near the main Stockinette. It was one of the first of its kind in America. Stockinette went out of fashion, and they sold the land to J.D. Stowe, and he turned it into a Manila paper company. The Hazard Powder Company manufactured black powder. Hazard Powder Company, founded by Colonel Augustus Hazard in 1843. Before he had came on board, the Lewis brothers and Allen Denslow were running it. In 1835, 1837, they brought on Colonel Hazard as the sales office in New York City. Then in 1843, Hazard and some of his business associates bought out the Loomises, and that's when it became the Hazard Powder Company. 400 acres, 4 miles of canals, 14 miles of roads, 200 structures, and 118 powder mills. Production capacity, 12 ton sport, and 16 ton blasted powder daily. 1830 to 1860, an area of national development to build roads, canals, railroads, blasted coal, and copper mines. The Hazard Powder Company is a story in itself. That's my next project. This is the Scantic River approaching South Maple Street. Over there on the right, back a little bit, you can see the retaining wall that Hazard used for his powder. This is further upstream. This is called the New Works. They created this dam. It was Stowe's Pond. The New Works were up on the top of that hill there. We also had we had a canal that supplied water downstream to another one of the mixing mills. This is, you can see in the background, the old wagon road that went out to the New Works. There's one of the remains of the mixing mill. Mixing mill, excuse me.
Yeah, it looks.
This is a remnant of the Hazard Powder Company. In 1913, there was an explosion there. This is an article from the Thompsonville Press, January 23rd, 1913. About 1,000 persons from out of town came to view the ruins of the mill Sunday. Many interesting points about the town came to view. Excuse me. About 1,000 persons from out of town came to view the ruins of the mill Sunday. Many interesting points about the explosion have developed in cleaning up the debris. It was part of a press weighing between 3 and 4 tons and found 75 feet from the original location. So what I believe is that's the 3 or 4 ton part of the press that's been there for 105 years.
Tons. Yeah.
This is Kimball's Brook out in Tolland. It goes into Lake Bonaire. A couple gentlemen from New York founded a company to make peat moss. There's the marsh behind Lake Bonaire where they harvested their peat moss. This is Kimball Brook leaving Lake Bonaire. This is Kimball Brook further downstream. It's Kimball Brook. 1805 George Hill, Nassau Shingle Shop. You can see it went through different owners. And then in 1854, Henry Kimball was. That's the retaining wall for Kimball Mill. There's another part of it. Now we go down to Abbey Road. Samuel Penny had a sawmill here in 1750. This is Thompson Pond. That's a Black Brook feeder. This is Creamery Brook off of Green Road in Ellington. That's another part of Creamery Brook. There's the dam on Creamery Brook. And that was the Ellington Creamery, built in 1884. This is Bradley's Brook. Elijah Bradley had a distillery here on the west side of Abbott Road. That's another part of Bradley Brook. This is Muddy Brook. This is Baylor's Brook. Patrick Thompson and his son Andrew had a potash factory here on Baylor's Brook. That's Kibby's Brook. Hunting's Brook. 1839, Marvin Scripture had a sawmill. 1849, William Gager took it over, added a grist mill. There's Gager's Mill at Heights Brook on Jimmy Road. This is the headwaters of Broad Brook in Ellington, coming down off of Snepsic Forest. This is Sad's Mill. There's what's left of Sad's Mill. My son says that's sad. This is one of the most interesting mills in the whole Scantic Watershed. It was in existence for 175 years. Started out with Joshua Brooke in 1735 at a sawmill. I believe he came out from Enfield. And it was down the road and added the Bristol blacksmith shop. Near the end, it became a grain elevator for the Rockville Water Company. And then it was a woven basket manufacturing company for a couple of years. This is Belgium Mill, right across the street from Sad's Mill Road, right across the street from Sad's Mill. That's Belcher's house. This is Belcher Mill. 1747, William McCarthy had a sawmill, changed hands many times. 1853, it was a Woolen factory. In 1859, it changed to a Woolen mill. 1869, the flood wiped out the dams and the mill. This is the Scantic River in East Windsor. The East Windsor Conservation Commission has a hike there every year, New Year's Day hike. I happened to do it one day, and I happened to see all these no-name tributaries entering it. There's one across the stream, another across the stream, there's one there. This is Spring Glen Brook. Yeah, Spring Glen Brook. This is Ketch Brook. This is Ketch Brook going under the railroad trestle. This is the old the Griffin line, the Armory branch of the Griffin line that went all up to Springfield for the Springfield Armory. This is Peck's Pond. This is Mr. Ratty had a shoddy mill here in 1886 in Woodsville. This is Mr. Blodgett had a grist mill here below the Windsorville Dam. Later on, Howard Peck took it over in 1897, changed it to a quarry. I believe that's the wagon road going out of Blodgett's mill. This is Windsorville Dam. P.C. Allen in 1838 had a woolen mill here called the Windsorville Manufacturing Company. This is Harrington Brook going into the Scantic. This is a no-name brook off of 191 into the Scantic. This is a no-name brook and pond on Depot Road in East Windsor. G.C. Brown had made pro buttons there in a factory Then Andrew Hamilton took it over in 1852 and ran it to 1865. All the workers called that Pearlsville. Burned down, there's nothing left. This is Chestnut Brook and Broadbrook, pass it under Main Street. Mr. Lord had a blacksmith shop here, 1869 on Mill Street. This is Dry Brook near the border of South Windsor. South Windsor has 2 ponds. This is Dry Brook, runs through Wellington and East Windsor. Has 8 named brooks, 10 feeders, 3 named ponds. Broadbrook Manufacturing Company was also taken here. 1835, the Phelps Manufacturing Company. 1849 was the Broadbrook Manufacturing Company. The Phelps Manufacturing Company was organized on 25th of February 1847. The owners were Theo Phelps, John and George Gibbons, Albert Dennison. They merged in 1848 into the present Broadbrook Manufacturing Company. It consists of 19 sets of machinery using 1 million pounds of wool per annum and employed 400 people. The building is 325 feet by 40 feet, 4 stories high, with several wings and additions. There's the dam going under Main Street in Broadbrook. This is part of the Broadbrook Manufacturing Company. There's the 4-story high mill. That's flood control. Now we move over to Talcott Mill. This is in 1850, there was a grist and a sawmill hill on Mill Street. You can see the ruins there. That's the foundation. In the background, that's Stiles Road. That's dilapidated and closed. Sorry for the small picture, but that's Talcott Mills. 1961 in Melrose, Francis Gowdy had a distillery west of the tracks there. This is the Broadbrook entering the Scantic after a storm. Then we have Osborne Mill in 1728. Mr. Harker had a sawmill. There was 2 Phillips, both killed by accident. Matthew Thompson, Mr. Markham. Then in 1782, Daniel Osborne was running. He had a grist mill, a carding mill. Then his son Moses. Then his grandson N.S. Osborne. I believe this is Ephraim Eli's house, but I believe when Osborne had his mill, that was his house. And here we are at the end. This is the Scantic River entering the Connecticut River in South Windsor. The Grant family had a shipbuilding enterprise there. There was also a sawmill and the Bissell Ferry. The Connecticut General Assembly granted John Bissell the right to run a ferry across the Connecticut River. That's a picture of the ferry. Down below is a bell. If you were on the other side, you needed the ferry to come over to ring the bell. There's the tolls that the Connecticut General Assembly awarded to Bissell. Hard to read, but the first one says footman 3 cents. Then if he's got his horse and wagon, it's 12 cents. Whatever. Inflation. Okay, this is United States Geological Survey has a gauging station on Broad Brook. What they do, they measure stream flow, and it's measured by cubic feet per second. The last time I looked over there in 2011, it was 29 cubic feet per second flowing into, and then when you extrapolate that data, being the Scantic is probably 4 times bigger, you're talking about 110 cubic feet per second flowing into the Connecticut River from the Scantic watershed. That's the end of the presentation. I'll be, any questions, I'd be glad to try and answer any questions you have. I made some copies of the most unusual stories, so I made a bunch of copies that are free for the take, and if anybody wants them, there's some interesting stories. These are some of the books that I worked on. You can see over here is a topo map that shows the Scantic starting up in Stafford and entering South River.